All right, welcome to the 5 a.m. grind. Horace, how's it going?
It's going well, man. How's it going with you?
Yeah, not bad. It's been pretty rainy in Toronto this
Yeah.
week.
It's been,
What happened to summer?
it's all going, it's like all over the place. Like it's cold and it's warm.
It's like the in-between season when,
Yeah.
the weather can't make up its mind. It's
Yeah.
either too cold, too warm, too hot, too whatever.
Yeah. But hopefully May, it'll be,
End of May.
end
Summer
of May.
should be here. I'm looking
Summer.
forward to this summer, to be honest, after all this lockdown stuff.
I hope we open up, man.
Yeah.
Because like Ford was saying a
Yeah.
while ago, like he wants the airport to be closed down. So there's no flights coming in.
Yeah.
Did you read about that?
No.
So he was pushing that,
Right.
and then he was pushing that the borders, because before I think when you flew in from the airport, you had to quarantine for 3 days,
Mhm.
and then you did whatever, and like you could, if you were negative within those 3 days, you had to go home and finish your quarantine.
Right.
But if you cross over from the border, you didn't have to do that. You went straight home.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people, a lot of family that I knew, went to Buffalo and then they crossed over because they didn't have to stay at the hotel. They went home and quarantined.
Huh.
So now I think Ford's like, even there should be a new rule that even if you cross the border from wherever,
Yeah.
like a land border, you still have to quarantine for 3 days at a hotel
Oh, okay.
to
Interesting.
prevent that travel. That's it's a bit,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's interesting. All right. So for this week's podcast, I thought we'd talk about the topic of confidence. Okay. And the questions I wanted to answer today were as follows. Number 1, why is confidence important? 2, how can you build confidence and how did you become confident? Number 3, how can you project confidence when you're uncertain about something? And number 4, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? It's a fine line. But yeah, I want to talk about the difference between the two. All right, so let's go with the first one. Why do you think confidence is so important? Just in life in general, whether it's you running a business or in a career or just in life in general, why is confidence so important?
I think that if you have no confidence, now I'm not saying that, again, there's a caveat to this where I'm not, and I know we're going to address it in one of the later questions. I'm not talking about overconfidence, but you should have some confidence. The balance varies between people, but that confidence is more, so when you're going into a problem, like when you need to solve a problem,
Yep.
if you're indecisive and you're unsure, you're going to make horrible decisions.
You're going to make dumb decisions. True.
So in order
True.
to make intelligent decisions in whatever it is that you're doing, you need some level of confidence to be able to at least let yourself know that you can make a decision that's good.
Yeah. I'd say about confidence, and I like this quote here. It says, the most beautiful thing you can wear is confidence. Confidence is one of those things, no matter what you do, you can wear nice clothes, you can be really like good looking, but people in general, human beings can sense when someone isn't confident.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can pick away they can pick it right out.
I think
When someone
even
isn't
at a
really
subconscious level, you pick up.
You do,
Right,
yeah, because
right.
it's like your energy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You're like, oh, this person is afraid.
Yeah.
They're scared.
Yeah.
That's why, I don't know, you judge them. All human beings judge, let's be honest. Then you go, oh, they're scared, they're weak, or they're not that, secure.
Yeah. And there might, I feel like a lot of times, even if somebody doesn't pinpoint, hey, is this person like confident or he's not confident or whatever it is, subconsciously they might be thinking to themselves, like, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's like a red flag. They don't know why there's a red flag. They don't get a good feeling. It may translate into something else.
Yeah.
But their brain is telling them that this person in front of them is somebody that you shouldn't be maybe the most comfortable with.
Yeah.
Which is why they may question you.
Right. And it's part of you, like we just said, it's part of the energy you give when you walk into a room or talk to someone. When you are with someone who's not very confident, like how does that interaction go? Is it weird? It's strange. I would imagine it's not very comfortable for you and that person.
I would say, for me at least, like if somebody's not that confident,
Yeah.
there's different levels, right? I think confidence also is hand in hand with self-awareness.
Okay.
So if you're aware of yourself,
Yeah.
right, you don't have to be like, you're self-assured, you're fine, right? That is a type of confidence. It's not always the type of confidence people have. Sometimes people are confident because, I just need to be confident, but they may not know why. But if you bring yourself to a self-assured confidence, I think when you meet somebody who is not confident, you know that the person is not confident, and you're willing to work with them in whatever capacity to get whatever thing it is that you need done. So, for example, if I'm working with somebody on a project, right, or if I need somebody for some kind of information, right, even if they're not confident, I'm going to take into consideration that they're not confident, but then I will still ask for what they know, for their advice or whatever, knowing that they're not confident, but maybe like they're not confident because they haven't explained this to anyone, or just like their experiences in life, or where is that lack of confidence kind of coming from?
Yeah. And I think in those interactions, the true sign of confidence is when, like, for example, you approach that person who isn't very confident, and you're able to make them feel comfortable and open up. And sometimes that might be where you're really revealing some of your vulnerabilities and insecurities to make them feel comfortable, to build like rapport between the two people. That to me is real confidence. It really is.
I mean, I feel like there's people who, like, if they find somebody who's not confident, they'll take it.
They take advantage.
Yeah. But then for me, then those people are not confident themselves. The ones who take advantage of that, it's just a show.
I agree.
Right?
It shows insecurity, to be honest.
So
Really
they're like,
does.
oh, I can, like, assert myself over them, or whatever nonsense it is.
Yeah.
And so they'll find that opportunity and kind of use it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of, like, the biggest, I think, signs of assured confidence is how you react when you're in a position of power over others. Perceived or real, how you behave, like, shows whether you're confident or not.
Yeah, like truly confident.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can you build confidence, and how did you become confident? How can you build it, and how did you become confident? I think for me, if I was to go first, it was a process. It didn't come overnight.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of insecurities when I was growing up, when I was young. It's still struggle with it today from time to time. But I think when life throws enough things at you, eventually you become confident in yourself. You just build that resilience.
Yeah.
And you're able to take on any situation, anybody, and just be able to assert yourself as you need to.
Yeah. I mean, I would divide that into two.
Okay.
Whereas there's, like, general confidence and there's specific confidence.
Yeah.
Right. Specific confidence I define as being confident in a particular task. If somebody were to tell me to, like, go do dental surgery, I would not be confident.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
So that is stuff that, like, even in law, if there's an area in law that I'm not comfortable with, right, I'm not going to be as confident there. Right. It's not going to be as the same kind of lack of confidence as dental surgery, but it'll be, the confidence wouldn't be there. But then if you tell me in the areas that I do practice, I'll be very confident. I'll be like, oh, I've seen this a million times. I know this happens, this happens, this happens. And then even if there's something that I haven't seen, I kind of know what to do if certain situations arise, and I figure I can, like, take care of myself. So that confidence is more specific. But then there's a general confidence in terms of, like, knowing that you'll be able to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that you, like, essentially how you're walking through life, understanding that, right, can give you more of a general confidence, I feel like. And that happens, like, over time. It happens over time. It happens, and it's not going to happen all at once, right? You have domain confidence in certain areas. You might be confident just with your friends first, just with your family first. Then it's, like, kind of work, and then strangers or whatever it is. Then you can do public speaking, whatever it is. But it's like, you slowly kind of move from one step to the other. You don't just wake up and, like, snap your fingers and you're there.
Yeah, and you're there.
Yeah. So all that, like, kind of confidence, like, the general confidence is basically, if I know who I am and I know my limits, right, I'm confident in that, right? I think a lot of times when people are not confident, they don't know their limits, and they feel like they should be doing things that, like, they don't have to. Like, if
you look stupid when you do. Yeah.
So I mean, like, if you go into, like, dental surgery or whatever, if I want to, like, play, like, basketball with an NBA player, right, I'm not going to be confident there. But that general confidence is always going to be there, in that, like, hey, this is not my domain. I don't need to be good in this. You know what I mean? Whereas if I was younger, I'd be like, oh, man, I don't want people looking at me, right? Whereas, like, okay, when you're, like, at least in my stage, if I make a fool out of myself, like, I can attempt, right? I'll try, I'll do whatever, right? And I wouldn't be like, oh my God, what are other people thinking. I'd still be, in a way, general confident, but not confident in that task.
Yeah. So I like what you just said. A lot to unpack here. If I was to summarize, so there is basically domain-specific confidence. Yeah. So let's say an area of law, you practice real estate law, you're confident there. If someone was to toss you something else, you'd still be able to figure it out, but you're less confident in it. Number two, you said confidence just generally in life, like going through life, meeting strangers, your significant other, parents, etc. There's that type of confidence. Yeah. And there's one more you said, so domain-specific, the whole life one. And I guess just knowing, like if you don't know something, it's fine. If it's not your domain, you're confident to admit that I don't know this.
It's like there's two types of, like, even in a specific act. Yeah. There's the confidence, there's a lack of confidence that I don't know how to do the act, right? Yep. But then there's also sometimes you lack of confidence in you as like, oh my God, people are judging me.
You're afraid to say I don't know. Yeah. You're afraid to say I don't know.
So you can have a lack of confidence and be confident at the same time, if that makes
sense. Correct. Yeah, it's almost like, yeah, totally. I think I have a quote that says something to that effect. It says, confidence is not they will like me. Confidence is I'll be fine if they don't. Yeah. Right? Like, even if they don't like me, it's okay. Like, I'm comfortable within my own skin. Yeah. I don't need to be able to please anyone. So walking into situations, so number 3, when you walk into situations where you're uncertain about something, how do you project confidence? Like, let's say you're brought in as someone into a particular transaction. You're not very confident about a certain aspect of it. How do you bring out your confidence, or how do you make it seem like you can take it on if you were to be given time or etc.?
I think, for me, my opinion, as I'm thinking about this right now.
Yeah.
Confidence has nothing to do about what you project to the other person. Confidence is more of an internal mechanism where you're like, I know, like, this area and I don't know this area. So if somebody were to give me a problem and there's an area that I don't understand, right, I could still be confident in myself and my ability, right, and that area, and be like, all right, well, this is not something I don't know, but I know I can figure it out, and I could speak accordingly. But I know this as a fact. Yeah. I know this for a fact for myself. You get what I mean? Yeah. And so that will automatically show confidence. But I feel like there's other, like, at times I feel individuals are like, okay, I got to show confidence. So even if I'm not confident, I got to behave a certain way, or act a certain way. Yeah. And I personally think that that's not conducive. It's not like to like showing confidence. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. When I'm in situations where I don't know something, I'm not afraid to admit I don't know. Right? Like if there is someone asking me a question, they ask me, for example, a question. I'm like, I don't know. However, I don't just say I don't know. Yeah. I don't stop there. Right? It's always I don't know. However, I can go ahead and research this topic, or I remember a situation that is similar, but I gotta double check, right? Yeah. I mean, saying I don't know, but with a caveat, right? Not just leaving him there, right? Because again, we work in the client service business. I don't want to lose the client. Let's be quite honest, right? And have you seen the size of the tax act? It's enormous, right? Nobody knows all the rules, and they change all the time, right? You can't. I know I'm a CPA, but not every CPA has memorized like that. 6,000, 10,000 page tax act into their heads. They don't know some esoteric part of some tax rule. So sometimes you can say, I don't know, but I can look into it. Or I don't know. However, I've encountered this situation before. I'll have to double check and get back to you.
And I think that like situation there really sets apart the more experienced individuals from the amateurs, because amateurs feel like I have to memorize everything.
Right.
When you don't. Yeah. I mean, you're not getting paid. You're not, I'm not paying you. If you're like, when you're doing my like accounting stuff, right? Like I'm not paying you to memorize a book. The book has information. Yeah. You're getting paid for how do you weave through things and know what to place where and able to figure everything out. Because even if you're reading through the same tax act that I am, the tools that you have to read through it is very much different than my own. Correct. Right? You've been trained to read through it to figure out what's going on where. I don't have that. I could read it and it could make sense to me, but that doesn't mean that I'm understanding the real meaning of it.
Correct. Yeah. Right? Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say to that situation that you just mentioned, when someone says they get that question from a client they're not sure about, and they answer it anyway, giving some random answer because they're like, oh, I need to sound good to my client. Yeah. I would say that in the long term could hurt your confidence because clients would find out that you were wrong, right?
You should
And,
never
and
do
it's,
that.
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
That backfires against you. So
Yeah.
why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah.
Why would you want to put yourself in that
Because
situation?
a lot of people, like, I get it. When clients are aggressive,
Yeah.
or like you just have a pressure to answer questions right away,
Yeah.
and you feel like if you don't answer it right away, then oh my God, they're gonna think you don't know, and then this and that, right? For me, it's especially the nuanced stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's certain stuff that you should know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain like just general knowledge that's like within whatever area you're practicing or
Yeah.
you're servicing that you should know. But the more nuanced stuff, like people have like the amateurs especially have this like need to be like, I gotta answer this right away, right?
Yeah.
As soon as it give me a question, I'm gonna spit back an answer. It's like, you know, it's like a speed round of like whatever, them trying to understand whether you know what you're talking about. When in reality, confidence is not about that, right? The real professionals will be like, all right, this is an area where I don't know. Now, you have to then take that and also understand how to take care of a client.
Yeah.
So that's also comes with experience,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a client, you also have to understand that the client is inexperienced in all of this,
Yeah.
and you don't want to spook them, right? So you have to be able to be truthful with them,
Yeah.
but also kind of take care of them to make sure that they're kind of understand that like they're in good hands.
Yeah. And I'd say when it comes to stuff like this, especially our businesses where it's like very domain specific, accounting or law, let's say you don't know the answer to a question and you say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. When they ask you a follow-up question or something that you know about, you can kind of overcompensate and give them more information that they would need. So then they're like, oh, well, he seems to know his stuff, you
Yeah.
know, just generally speaking.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, them, hitting you for that one question you didn't know or whatever it is.
But a lot of times when clients are asking questions,
Yeah.
Especially if it's like your first meeting or your first few meetings, or if it's just on the spot, they're trying to get to know you,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And
They're
so-
trying to build trust.
Yeah, and so what they want is not necessarily the answer. They want to know that, like, they want to have a conversation and get to know you a little bit. So, and if you can take that question, maybe probably not answer that, but answer something else, or answer a portion of that question that you do know, and kind of give them that contact,
Yeah.
they'll be more comfortable. And then you can always go back and say, hey, you know that question, this is what I've looked into it, and this is what I see. A lot of times now, like when I have, even if like, so a lot of people will ask questions about buying, selling, whatever, refinancing a home
Yeah.
or a business or whatever else it is. And a lot of these questions are like 80% of them are pretty much the same question. But at the same time, like I will say, hey, shoot me an email and give me some of the questions that you have so I can prepare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I want to know, what are they asking? What's their frame of reference? Because a question can lead to like so many things, right?
Yeah.
And depending on where the other person's coming from, the answer is going to be different.
Yeah.
I could talk about certain things all day long, and I still would not be able to cover all of it.
That's so true. So true.
So it's like really understanding what the question is. I don't know where.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, hey, I wanted this discussion to go on. It's totally fine. I guess zooming out a little bit, just more broadly speaking about confidence. Can you fake confidence? I read an interesting stat about this actually, about faking confidence. It was actually in another YouTube video I was watching by Ali Abdal, some YouTuber. And what he was saying is that most people can't tell the difference between you faking confidence and actual confidence. Like if you're faking it, some people can't tell.
Oh, wow.
I feel like some people can. I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes people can say that, oh, like this guy's making this stuff up.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? Can you fake it? Like when you weren't very confident, first time you started your business, how did you get over that hump of just confidence and just being able to be like, yes, I know this, or trust me?
Yeah. For me, honestly, it was like people asking me questions, and in the back of my head, I might be panicking. Like, do I know this? Can I do this? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like
All those self-doubting thoughts.
Yeah, I'm like, well, can I really do this? Okay, well, no, but I just need the business. But is it fair for me to take on this client?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm doing right now, right? And like, there's a lot of questions, but then in front of the client, even as a client's talking, these thoughts could be on my mind in the beginning, and I'd just be like, you know what, I just need to get through this meeting, right, without this, and stay calm, right, listen to them and really understand what they're asking, all right, and then answer whatever I know, and then write down whatever I don't know, take notes during the meeting.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I can reach back and answer whatever questions they want. And I found that when I did that, like when I'm connecting with the client, it automatically comes off as confident because I can confidently talk to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can confidently have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I may not be confident about other things, right? Like if you're asking me questions that I don't know, I may not be confident about that.
Yeah.
But I can confidently talk to you and be like, okay, well, when I talk to Ali, like I know that I can understand his questions,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I can answer with an I don't know or what I do know.
Yeah.
So I kind of become present in the moment and then use that.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, totally. I'd say if you're not very confident, fake it. Fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
Do it up. The one reason why I say that, and I was thinking about this as you were answering the question, is in life I've noticed something. Generally, people don't have a lot of patience with people who aren't confident. If you're not confident, even if you know your stuff, people will assume you don't.
Yeah.
People will just make that inference. It's terrible. It's so bad, but that's what human beings do. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. There was a presentation that I gave when I first started at my current job, and I wasn't very confident, but the material I had was correct.
Yeah.
Like, it was the right approach, etc. Right? But it didn't go over as well as I wanted, right? Because I was sort of stammering. I was unsure. There were a lot of ums and this and that, you know. And I was looking for the audience to validate what I was saying, right? When you do that, it's actually terrible because even if you're right, people will assume you're wrong.
Yeah.
They'll just infer that, oh, you just don't know your stuff.
Yeah.
So it can really hurt you. So what I would say is, if you're not very confident, focus on a certain part of the presentation or the argument that you're making that you're really confident in, and then let that sort of drive and snowball the entire thing for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's really important. That vibe, that energy you give to someone, that's the first thing they can sense. And sometimes it doesn't even matter what you're saying. Because, the person's right. Person makes them feel good. So they're just like, oh, I must be right.
Well,
now, I'm not saying, so we'll get to our fourth point. I'm not saying be a con man or a fraud.
Yeah.
But no, it is important to have confidence in what you're saying and the way you deliver it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that it's unfortunate, and I see that a lot, and I saw this earlier on in different professions where people who are confident and they don't know what they're talking about, they easily get clients, they get business, they get this, they get that. And the person that's more reflective and actually has much more understanding of it, they're the ones who are kind of like lacking that confidence.
Yeah.
It's that what is the curse of little knowledge, where it's like when you know nothing, right? You know nothing, so you're kind of like, whatever. When you know enough, you're like, okay, I will never know enough. And when you know little, you think you know everything.
Right.
So those people who know little, they're like running around going, oh my God, I know everything. But the people who know nothing, or the ones who know enough to know that they don't know everything, they're not confident because they're like, okay, well, I don't know all of this.
Yeah. I'll go back. I think we had this quote on our sales podcast, which said, human beings are, first of all, emotional creatures and then creatures of like rationalization and knowledge. Again, you got to appeal to that emotional aspect. So last question, number 4, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? Because a lot of people think, confident people, you just mean like a douchebag.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Because I feel like it's a fine line between the two.
I mean, I think the biggest difference is confident is knowing that, hey, I know something, but I could be wrong, and I'm open to listening to others.
Right.
As well as I know myself enough to articulate whatever I'm thinking in a very succinct way, right? Whereas arrogance is sometimes you're trying to be confident, sometimes you're just arrogant, but you're automatically, because you want to preserve whatever way you're thinking, you will reject what anybody else is saying. And it could be either just rationalizing it, right? And saying like, all right, well, this guy's stupid and it's like not connected to whatever they're talking about. Or it could also be just talking to that person and you're just like rejecting whatever every point the other person ever says, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's wrong because I know I read somewhere here that this is like this, right?"
Yeah.
And you're not opening yourself up to what the other person is saying.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say confidence in today's world, it's like confidence with some vulnerability. You know, showing a bit of a side that, oh, I don't know everything, so you can teach me something to whoever it is, your audience, someone you're selling to, etc., etc. It works both ways. It's like you're trying to make that feel at the end, that person, whoever it is that you're trying to sell to or present to, you're trying to make that person or audience feel comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes that requires you to show some vulnerability, to open up a little bit, and then you can get them to trust you and see that you're actually confident. The old way of doing confidence, I'd say, was what you just described, which was like, oh, everybody's wrong. This is completely wrong. Only my way is right. I won't listen to anybody else.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, at certain times, the thing is like a lot of people may argue, hey, well, I know this so well that this other person, like, they can't add any value.
Yeah.
But if you're confident in you knowing that whatever it is really well, you would at the same time respect the other person's time enough to listen to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like give them that opportunity.
Yeah, and you'd be confident to know that sometimes in life I don't know everything. Somebody can teach me something I don't know, and that could be like someone who's completely new, someone who has decades of experience. You know, I'm open to changing my opinions and beliefs because I don't know everything. Yeah, and that's totally fine.
So it's that openness, I guess. That's the answer.
The openness,
going in and being like just okay. And I feel like nowadays, there's very, very few people who are truly confident. I feel a lot of it is that
arrogance,
that fake confidence, bordering on arrogance as well. Right?
What do you think that is?
I think that like
is
people,
it society just in general, social media?
It is because I think at the same time people are kind of onslaughted with a lot of things, right? And this is kind of a whole other podcast where when you turn on the TV and you open up any magazine, you're told to be insecure about yourself so somebody could sell you something, right? And so the only reaction people have is to project some kind of confidence or whatever, but they haven't really done the work with themselves as to why they lack that confidence and how they can move forward. Right. And how to kind of stop all this nonsense that they're watching on TV, YouTube, wherever, social media, and on these magazines or wherever else, to kind of filter them and be like, all right, a lot of this stuff is just fake.
Yeah. I guess, do you have situations where sometimes you're not confident about something or whatever? Some days I'm sure are better than others, right? Some days you're on point, some days not so much. What do you do to, motivate yourself back in or bring yourself back up?
The days that my confidence is the lowest, I find without, at least now, for the past at least like 3 years. Okay, without exception, it's always been a lack of sleep. When my mind is tired, right? Then I'm like, oh, can I do this? I don't think I can do this. Oh, man, I don't want to do it, whatever, right? And then, like, now I know when as soon as I start thinking like that, my kind of knee-jerk reaction, I was like, whoa, did I sleep? Do I need a nap? Right? And then as soon as I sleep and I get decent amount of sleep, I'm good.
Yeah, interesting. I just do a little bit of self-talk, to be honest. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, you live once, why are you scared? Like, you're living once in your life. Like, why are you scared of this thing? Sometimes it's just a little bit of self-talk in your heads. Because sometimes, let's be honest, confidence is a big mental thing as well. It's like a mental state, too. Because sometimes you're like, oh my God, I don't know. And you want to curl up in a ball and just say nothing. Yeah. And I think everyone feels that way, no matter how confident they project themselves to be. So it's perfectly normal. You just have to accept it and then sort of talk yourself into it or talk yourself out of it, whatever it is.
I mean, I think that confidence, before that confidence, you need courage.
Yeah.
And once you have that courage to do the things that you're scared of, then the confidence just comes.
Got it.
Maybe that's a podcast.
On courage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be courageous. Any parting thoughts on confidence?
Confidence is an internal thing. And the more you work on yourself and knowing who you are, the more I feel confident you'll be.
Yeah. I'd say the same. Work on yourself. Try to build this skill set. It is quite important. People feel your energy from a mile away. So definitely work on that confidence. It'll come over time. Yeah. All right. We'll leave it there. See you guys on the next one.
All right.